Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how to make your money last as long as you do. One of the most common concerns or fears that people have is making sure their money is going to last them throughout their entire retirement. While there might be a bunch of different strategies you can utilize, ultimately they break down into two categories. Either they're going to be guaranteed or they're not. It's pretty much that simple. So let's take a quick peek at a couple different strategies so you can get a better idea of which one you're going to want to use. But before we get onto that, make sure you check out my free masterclass where I break down 6 money-murdering tax traps that may await you in your retirement and how you can work to build yourself a tax-free retirement. Alright, so when it comes to retirement strategies, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to have either guaranteed options, they're going to make sure your money is going to be there for you for your entire lifetime, or you're going to be on the other side where it's not guaranteed, but they use statistical back performance to say that you may end up with more money doing it this way. So let's take a peek at a couple of those so you get a better idea of it. So the most common way that people take money out of their retirement accounts is using this old financial rule of 4%. And it was created way back in 1994, so it's over 25 years old. And basically it stated that if you took just 4% off of your retirement account each year, so if you had $100,000, just taking out $4,000 per year, you'd have a 98% chance that money would last you for the next 30 years or basically into the end of your retirement. So back in the 90s, interest rates were higher. The market didn't have 3 corrections that we've had since then. So this rule worked back then. But since then, we've gone through a couple of different market crashes. The interest rate's at 0% and looks like it's going to be staying that way for the next few years. So in short, that strategy is no longer going to work. And in fact, a study done by Morningstar, which is an independent retirement research firm, looked at using the rule of 4% in today, and what they found is that you only have a 50% chance of making that money last for the next 30 years. So in other words, you're betting that you're going to have enough money to last you the rest of your life on the flip of a coin. The other thing is that having your money last for just 30 years may not be enough. People are living longer and longer every year. In fact, right now people are estimated to live to about 87 is kind of the average age. So it wouldn't be surprising that if you're retired at 62, you could live to possibly 92, 95, or above. So you may need your money to last longer than that. So you can see this rule of 4% really doesn't hold up much anymore, yet it's still widely used and taught to other financial advisors. So if you're thinking about leaving your money in the market and just taking a little bit out each year, you may want to second guess it, especially if you need the income, because it's not a guaranteed strategy. Now the reason why this rule is still being used is because a lot of financial advisors are taught that money in the market over the last, 100 years has averaged, 8% on average. So if I only take out 4%, I still make more, and you'll end up with more money down the road. At least that's what they tell you. But what they don't tell you is that 8% average return that the stock market has had since 1926 is if you're 100% tied to the stock market. I don't know if anyone's actually going to do that. How many of you are going to actually have 100% of your money tied to the stock market in your retirement? Probably none of you guys. So that 8% number that they use isn't really going to be true. And when you think of it, even if you got to earn 8% per year and you took out 4% a year for your retirement withdrawals, you're only earning 4% every year. But you still have to pay fees. Most advisors charge 1%, plus you're paying either half to 1% on top of that in back-end fees. So if you go on the low end there, say you're paying 1.5% in fees, your 4% earnings are now down to just 2.5%. And inflation over the last few years have been about 2%. Most advisors use 3%. So if you take into account of it, a 4% withdrawal plus advisory fees and a 3% inflation, you're probably not really making anything in the long term anyways. So I would highly caution you guys from utilizing this strategy or listening to anyone that pushes this. A couple other strategies on the non-guarantee side that a lot of people utilize is using things like real estate investing, or they use dividend portfolios. Again, these things may work okay, but they're not guaranteed. Should something happen like the current pandemic where no one's able to make their rent, that may not work out well, or when companies can't earn enough money to pay out your dividends. Remember that dividends aren't a guarantee. They can slice them or suspend them at any time. So while they may be nice on average, if something were to happen down the road, they could potentially see that retirement portfolio or that income from those dividends be cut. So again, those are non-guaranteed strategies. So you have to take them with a grain of salt, and you have to think if you really want to take on that sort of risk. Now the other side is the guaranteed strategies. Now if you ask me, if you had the choice to guarantee never going to run out of money in retirement, or to risk and potentially earn more money down the road, I would always say take the guaranteed route. Having a guaranteed retirement income is just like having a pension or Social Security. If Social Security offered you a lump sum payout versus getting you a guaranteed $1,000, $2,000 per month, most people wouldn't take the lump sum payout because they know in the long term it's safer to take that guaranteed $1,000 to $2,000 a month for the rest of your life. And that's really what you have the option to do with your retirement accounts. You can basically turn it into a lifetime stream of income that operates on a guaranteed basis. So you want to make sure your retirement money is going to be with you for as long as you live. That's the only way to do it. You have to go about this and use a guaranteed approach. Now, what are these approaches? They're annuities, plain and simple. That's the only account in the entire world that's going to give you a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life that you can't outlive. So if that's something you truly want, don't listen to the media and they tell you about it's, high fees and you can make more money if you just do this new strategy. Remember that those strategies aren't proven. They're back tested. And at the end of every advisory page, you'll see it. Past performance isn't an indicator of future results. The past is the past, and it may not repeat itself. So if you really want to use a strategy that's going to be guaranteed to work and you don't have to worry about the what ifs in the future, that's when you're going to use this annuity. So because annuities, if structured the right way, have no market risk associated with them and operate on a guaranteed basis, they're always going to outperform bonds, and you can pretty much beat any portfolio out there if you just swap out bonds for the annuity. So annuities are a great way to make sure that your retirement's going to last for the rest of your life. Now there's a lot of negative talk about annuities out there, and really the people that talk badly about annuities are ones that don't sell them because they operate on a fee-only basis. In other words, all they want is the annual fee that you're going to get generated when they manage your account. So they want to keep it in the market, and they're going to tell you you're going to earn more over the long term, and you might, but it's also going to line their pockets every year. They're going to make that 1.5% fee every single year, no matter what your account does. So in the long term, they stand to make a lot more money if you kept your money in the market rather than using an annuity. So they tend to be a little bit biased in that sense. So it's always important when you hear these recommendations or thoughts, you want to dig behind it all and figure out what the motive is for that person telling you about that. Why do people want you to use annuities? Personally, I use them because they're a guaranteed strategy. I let my clients choose what they want. I really don't care what you use, it's your money. I just like to show you the guaranteed way that I know it's going to work and the way that's non-guaranteed, but my work as well. It's your choice. If you want to know more about annuities and how they work in general, check out this playlist over here. Now, fair warning, it is one of the first videos I did when I started this YouTube channel, so they're not as good or clean as these videos you're watching today, but the information's still there. Just bear with me on them. Thanks for watching, and remember that your future depends on what you do today.